In this lesson, we're going to begin breaking apart the towers of our bridge. Okay, so we've made quite a bit of progress here, breaking apart the main part of our bridge, and we kind of have what we're looking for as far as destruction goes of our main part of the bridge, and now we're ready for the towers. And whenever we start breaking apart the towers, we're adding a lot more dynamic. So we're going to have to do a little bit of reworking of the main part of our bridge because these pieces are going to be falling as well, and they could be destroying different parts of the bridge, and it could change up the dynamics altogether. So the more you add to a dynamic scene, the more unpredictable it could get. So along with careful planning and proper execution, you should have minimal problems with this. So let's go ahead and start breaking apart our towers here. So I'm going to start with the corner towers. Now before I do so, there's a couple of things that I want to look at. We had already talked about interpenetration among objects causing a problem. And you'll see that these towers are interpenetrating with our rails. And this could cause a major issue. Okay? And we're also seeing that this is also penetrating with our actual bridge itself. Okay? And we really don't want that to happen. We haven't actually added any dynamics to this, so we haven't seen any problems just yet. So my plan that I have is to try to reshape this a little bit and possibly even turn it around. So let's try to rotate this 180 degrees. Let's turn on our angle snapping. Let's turn this at 180 degrees. There we go. And just a little bit more that way. There we go. And let's move this back. Okay, and let's try to separate this from the bridge itself. Okay, now this was hiding some of our gaps, and we can straighten these up. It's not really that big of a deal. So my main thing is to get this separated from the bridge, because this is going to cause a lot of problems for us. Okay. Alright, now you'll see that our bridge access is not quite big enough to hold this tower, and that's also interpenetrating, so this is going to be something that we're going to have to deal with later on. And these are all changes that you would have to make in a scene like this. Okay, you're going to get in, you're going to have one idea, and it's not going to work out simply because the dynamics are not going to allow it. Okay, it's one of those violations that we have to deal with. So these bridge access pieces, I might actually just take them out because it might be too much to try and reshape those. So let's talk about actually getting rid of this. So I'm going to delete this one, and we're just going to try a solution here. Let's try to add onto this tower here, and let's just try to take this straight down into our foundation. So let's go to polygon mode. Let's select this polygon, and I'm going to extrude this, and I'm going to actually extrude this into a positive direction right straight down into this foundation. Okay, hit OK, and I'm going to make this part of my tower mostly static, so we're going to have pieces sticking out of this foundation here. Now I could do a little bit of reshaping to this just to kind of stick with the ornate look here. So we can go to extrude, and let's actually select some polygons here, and let's do extrude. Take this down just to add a little bit of thickness to this, a little bit of shape. Okay, hit OK, and I'm going to do an inset on this just to kind of try and stick to the design. And except for on this one, I'm going to bevel this out to a positive direction. We'll take it down to about half a foot because I don't want it to cover up this part of the foundation. Let's go right up to it and hit OK. Alright, so we've adjusted our design a little bit, and I think this is going to be okay. You'll see that the feet have to be moved a little bit. Let's turn on polygon mode to do that. I'll just move these over. And you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with the way this is going to look, because the pieces kind of came in too much on the bridge and really constricted that walkway. So if I have it coming out the other way, it might not be so bad. So let's actually take this part of the tower and let's delete it out. And let's just hold down Shift and move this out into the Y. Just make a copy of that. Hit OK. And let's turn this 180 degrees. So let's go to our Rotate tool, rotate this 180 degrees, and let's adjust this to where it's not penetrating into our bridge. Okay. And let's take that bridge access that was right there out. Alright, so this is going to alleviate a lot of problems down the road. Okay. And like I said, this is one of those processes that you need to make whenever working with dynamics. Okay, it's just a solution. Okay. Now you could, if you wanted those bridge access pieces to be there, you could go ahead and reshape those and try to get those to fit with the tower and actually become part of the tower, and that would make things a little bit easier. Okay. Let's go ahead and rotate this around. And you know what, actually, let's delete these out. We're going to take both of these, grab our Move tool, hold down Shift, and drag this into Y. Pull it right down here to this point and hit OK. And we have those pieces in there. And let's select the Bridge Access, Large Objects, and delete those out. Now we have these new towers in here. We've taken out the problem of the rails interpenetrating with one another. Okay, so we shouldn't have any issues there. Now the only issue that we have now to deal with is that these rails don't exactly line up, especially this one. Okay, so I'm actually going to do Select by Color. And I'm going to select all of these. Just going to hold down Alt and do a marquee selection around this side. And then come around to my front, hold down Alt, deselect all of these. And I'll come in a little bit closer and just deselect all these pieces on this bridge. Okay, there we go. And then I'll just move this in my Y. Just try to line that up a little bit better. It doesn't have to be exact, because after all, is my shot really going to see all of that? Okay, probably not. Move that a little closer in the X. Make sure that it's not penetrating the other side, and it is. We could type in the numbers and get this a little bit closer, and I'm okay with that little gap there. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have the new tower set up. We've got those together. Now we do have these parts of the tower here that we're going to have to deal with as well, and I think I have a solution to this one. And what we can do is just go to Edge Mode. Let's select one of these edges and hit Ring. I'm going to go to Connect, and I'm just going to do one segment on this, and I'm going to slide this up toward the top and make sure that that line is right above my rails. So I'm going to hit OK on that. I'm going to select one of these edges that go horizontal and hit Ring. Let's do Connect, and let's slide this toward the front and make sure that this line is actually right out in front of the bridge here. And we'll hit OK on that. And what I'm going to do is actually delete these polygons out of this bridge access. So I'm going to select this polygon. I'm going to delete it out. And I have one on this side. I'm going to delete that one. And then I also have one on the back side as well that needs deleted. And I actually have several on the back. So let's delete those. Hit F3, and I know this is kind of hard to see through all of this, but those polygons are still there. Let's make sure we get those deleted. And we have this one right here on the side. Delete it. And this one as well. Alright, so what we should have, let me pull this out. What we should have is this shape here. We've basically just cut out the bridge from this object. Alright, now what I want to do is actually cap this along the back. So let's go to Edge Mode and let's bridge these pieces. Let's go to Bridge, and I'm going to go from this edge across, bridge that, and let's bridge this across, and then this one. Okay, there should be one along the bottom as well, or a couple. And we can go ahead and just leave those exactly the way they are. Because they're along the bottom, they're not really going to be seen. Okay. Let's turn off bridge, and let's move this back into position. Whoops. Let's turn off edge mode and do that. Move that back into position. And you'll see that we have a couple of holes, and we could actually take care of that. We could add in the shape there to do so. Make sure that that's not penetrating through the bridge. Okay. Let's go to edge mode, and I'm going to select these edges right here. I'm going to do connect, and I'm going to do 2 segments on this one. I'm going to actually slide these, and I want one edge right underneath the rail here, and then I want this one right up here. So let's pinch these together and slide them up. And let's get them to where they're inside in this gap here. Hit OK. Let's go to polygon mode. And I'm going to select just this one polygon along the back side. Let's hit F3. Should be this one large polygon right here. And I'm going to extrude that into this rail, just to kind of hide that hole there. Let's extrude it. And let's make sure that we get it to where it's not going through the bridge. Let's hit OK. And if you want at this point, you could go ahead and actually adjust these a little bit better. But I'm actually okay with that shape. Those holes are not going to be seen in my shot. What I care about is just the dynamics at this point. So I'm going to delete this one out and mirror this one. So let's go to Mirror. Let's make sure that Copy is on. And let's mirror this in the, I'm trying to see if that's the Y or X direction. I believe it's Y. So let's hit OK. Pull this back in the Y. There we go. And then just butt this right up against our bridge. Okay. There we go. So now we have those towers set up there. So now we shouldn't have any problems with interpenetration of any kind. Okay. So we've set this up properly. We should be okay. And now we're ready to go ahead and actually break up everything and get it ready for our dynamic scene. So in our next lesson, we'll take care of that.